Today we'll be building Cody DeVaren's custom because he doesn't know how to build scooters himself. He'd rather game out in my office. I'm going to start off with this Aztec deck here, Cody's favorite deck. It's made really light and still pretty strong. Scooter Alley grip tape because every scooter should have one on. Roots Industries honeycomb wheel, those are also made light. We're going 2 tilts because it's the strongest combination that I've seen personally. Affinity T-bars, these are the titanium ones, the lightest affinities you can get. Tilt headset, it's the new split colored ones. They're really cool. They come like half and half, just like their grip tape and stuff. We have those here too. ODI softies with some beat up bar ends. So once these grips break in, they're the best. Really soft. We're gonna start off by putting in this tilt headset. These are all the pieces that you'll need, putting your headset in your deck. Because my fork here already has this piece built in, I won't be needing the fork race, so I only need the top piece of it. These 2 spacers, they make it spin a lot better, and my cap that goes on top. So in the Aztec deck, the bearing, the top one, you want it to go in like this with the grooves on the bottom, which you kind of can just follow how the tilt words on there. On the bottom one, you do the opposite. So instead of putting this one like this, it's going to come with the groove on top. Your fork race goes on top too. You can grab your fork that already has my crown race built in there on the bottom. Slides right in there, so your headset's spinning. If you hear anything rubbing, it just means you got something backwards or you're missing your crown race on top. It shouldn't really be moving around too much. Put my 2 spacers, really thin spacers, and then this cap's going to hold everything together. And again, if it's rubbing on top, you're just going to need more spacers in there, those small ones. And on the bottom, if it's rubbing, your crown race is either not the right one or you're missing it. So I'm going to put that aside because we won't be needing it today. But because I have so much fork left, I throw in these spacers. These spacers, they raise your bar just a little bit. But if you want your SCS to get tight, if your fork piece is more than 1 inch long on top, you're gonna need some spacers. Your SCS on the bottom, goes right on top there. Some of these old forks have these pieces here, the bolts just made smaller. New ones are better, I find. The strong bolts, they don't strip. It's a 6mm bolt. Once it's all together, it's going to look like this. It's not spinning too much, it's only doing a half spin, which is what I need. The cutout lets me see the nice design that they have now on the tilt forks, which is pretty cool. My spacer here that I put right underneath my SCS. So next step, I'm going to be doing some grip tape. The way I do the grip tape, I look at it, slap it on there the way you want it, wherever, and I bend the edges that I don't need. So this I bend straight, I flip it around, I line it up again, bend that edge. Now I can come and cut it. Just make sure you cut it straight. And peel this back. Line up the Scooter Alley logo. Now as you can see, I have grip tape on the edges. So I'll take my Allen key, put it on an angle, just kind of shave it down. You want to put your knife flat on the deck. If you have it at an angle, you're going to scratch the balls out of your deck. You just slide it like that. That's how my grip tape looks now. It's nice and straight on there. The wheel should slide right in the fork like that. Your axle's going to go in. And if your axle doesn't go in completely, you're going to want to spin it in there. So just put your Allen key in and push and spin and it'll go in. 1 5mm on each side. I'm going to give it a good tight. As you can see, my wheel's spinning and it's not loose. It's not moving without the fork, which is good. The difference between the front and the back one's got some spacers just to hold your wheel in place. Spacers on the Aztec deck are a lot longer than all the other ones I have, so if you have smaller spacers, it's no different. Scooter would have pegs. I'd have a longer axle, and I'd put the peg before I put it in. But this goes in like that. I can put 1 spacer, grab my other root wheel, put it in there, and if it's not going in, just spin it in there. can line it up, push it right in. There we go. So that's my trick. If it doesn't go in easy, just spin it while you're going and it'll work. I'll go ahead with the other bolt here. Spinning it. If it's rattling and moving around, you can go ahead and tighten it more. Just like that. Wheel's nice and spinny. Nothing's loose. Your bars, you're going to want them to come in straight. The classic STSs, they come with this piece here. What that is, if you have an aluminum bar and an oversized bar, you slide your bar right in there. But the Affinities, titanium or steel are all standard bars, so this piece goes right in and it'll permit it to fit a lot better. So my bars can come right in there. And if you have troubles putting them in here, there's two different ways you can do it. You can put it on the floor and press down on the bar so it slides in. And if it really doesn't go in, either your bar is too big and your STS doesn't fit the bar you have, or I can take one of these bolts out, screw it in the opposite side, and if I put a coin like this in this slot here, my bolt's going to press against it, it's going to stretch out the STS a bit, the bar will fit in. One of the tricks I use to make sure everything's straight, you put it on the floor so you can look down. Yes, Cody, it works. So I'm going to do one bolt at a time. Once I have the bottom one done, I'm going to go to the top and do that a little bit. And then you want to do just a bit of every bolt at a time. You don't want to screw in one completely. The weight of the bar permits the headset to spin a lot better, which is what I was saying about the weight. So for the scooter being dialed, we only build dialed scooters here. We always make sure everything's tight, spinning fast. That's how you want your scooter to be built. So for the grips, we have a little secret. Huge Magic bug spray sauce, just off. You can use hairspray too, it works as good. You only want one squirt in there. You can slide it on there. And once it's on there, you don't want to touch it for about 10 minutes. If you play with it too much, it's not going to dry. Same thing for this one. For the bar ends, they're pressed in. I just use a rubber mallet, but you can just push them in there and they should fit. This is what happens when you play with your grips too much before they dry. Just like Cody's doing right now, ruining a perfect build. Now he's going to be complaining at the skate park, my grips are always wet. Let's go, Whiskey Grip.